Thanks, Mike and the team, for having us here on this event. We wanted to share what we do at EarlyVision, really focus in this presentation on the roll-to-roll AllOverPrint, but I'll touch the other offerings that we have as well. Basically, after years working with the apparel industry, with bigger brands like Gap and Under Armour or similar, we've seen two major initiatives that these companies are trying to do and failing. One is the on-demand, and the other is personalization. At the end of the day, they all dropped it because it was too expensive and too complicated to set up the pipeline for that. So we decided to start EarlyVision to tackle this that part. Now, EarlyVision offers end-to-end, from front-end to back-end on DTG and roll-to-roll. In roll-to-roll, we talk about AllOverPrint, where you print, cut, and sew, and also on ordering just rolls of printed fabric. The presentation today is very much focused on AllOverPrint, but I'll touch briefly on the DTG part first. DTG, we have an online editor integrated into WooCommerce, PrestaShop, Shopify, the leading e-commerce platforms, where the end user can customize the item, and on the back end, you get a file that is ready to print, that is relative to the plate's positioning and size, and that's the automation on that part. On the fabric printing, you get an editor, again, into all of these e-commerce platforms, and the user can upload a type and repeat it in different ways, or upload the actual image that he wants to print. On the back end, you get a file that is ready for the printer. And our focus for today is the AllOverPrint, again, print, cut, and sew, or cut, then print, then sew. Other scenarios also available. So what it is, our typical customer will have an e-commerce site where you have predefined designs, and he might want also to add personalization. It really doesn't matter where the source of the design came from B2B with professional designers, with the end user personalizing the item, or predefined design, they end up in the AllOverPrint being nested. We can see the right corner. Now, what we are hearing from our customers is that they had this dream of personalization and automation, and we take them much faster to an integrated platform, end-to-end, than any other alternative that they looked at. Part of it is because of our online customizers that I mentioned earlier, and specifically for AllOverPrint, the 2D and 3D online customizer. Then we also offer a native integration into Adobe Creative Cloud, Illustrator, and InDesign. This is meant for engaging with professional designers. This can be internal, but also can be external designers, micro brands, or Soho designers that you are working with. On the back end, what we offer is an integrated textile nesting that is aware on the grand line. It is aware of buffers, rotation rules. It's textile nesting, not stickers nesting. And an automation job server that basically allows the scale, that automates a lot of the manual operations. EarlyVision is a software company, and we are, but we are not box pushers, right? We are taking and in this project. Usually it's the first time that we do this type of things. We are creative. If the customer needs help with creating the 3D simulations, we'll do that for them. At the end of the day, in many cases, we find ourselves as the project managers of this initiative end-to-end. Here are two examples. Michael is from Print Logistic, Damir from Grafco Kaspar. I will not go over all these points, we don't have enough time, but maybe the first and the last point are interesting. The first one is that when they called us to see what we can do to help them, the major concern was my printer that I invested hundreds and thousands of dollars in is waiting for people. It is waiting for the rip, it is waiting for the operator, it is waiting for the designer. They wanted to eliminate that part. You don't want to see machinery waiting for people. And of course, the scale. When we solved this problem, they saw an actually interesting other problem, where at the end of the day, we automated the process. The printer is more available. How do you generate demand to these monsters that cost a lot of money so that they work continuously? And basically, we introduced our editor and pipeline to their partners, merchandising sites, other printing companies that are not doing AllOverPrint, and I enabled them to automate the workflow for drop shipping for AllOverPrint. Now, in terms of a workflow, consumer goes into an e-commerce site, either selects an existing design or pops up our embedded editor and customizes the garment, and a designer submitting work into the platform directly from Illustrator. At the end of the day, in all these cases, you get a lot of small orders, 1 unit, 2 units, sometimes bigger, dozens of units or hundreds. From the backend, it doesn't matter. We connect to the source of the orders, and we group them according to constraints that we define together with the customer. Of course, obvious constraints would be the fabric, the technology. Some of our customers do dye sublimation and direct to fabric. But basically, we group, merge, and split the orders so that we can create nesting-ready files that we send to the printer and we send to the cutter. So that's the base workflow for the AllOverPrint. Here's an example of print logistic company out of Poland. When we started, they served mostly their internal demand coming from multiple e-commerce sites. They had one Presto machine, one Allegro machine from Kornit, one Zund cutter. After about a year, they already have 2 Allegro machines, 2 Zund cutters, and many third parties that joined the platform with our front end implemented on their website. So basically, first we solved the workflow, the automation, and then they were able to onboard more and more external parties to generate more demand. Some screenshots. This is a swimsuit on the 3D configurator. Then this is an example of the 2D, 3D configurator. This is usually for designers. We don't think that 2D is for consumers. Some non-apparel items that our customers are doing, from shoes to bedding to home decor and so on and so forth. That's the Adobe Illustrator integration. Sits on inside of Illustrator with a set of tools that oriented towards this scenario, including 3D visualization that is very important for the sportswear designers to see the scale, to see the fit, and so on. And the output is a nested print, as we mentioned, and a matching cut file that can be initiated directly from Illustrator or through the pipeline we mentioned earlier. In this demo environment, we have multiple garments. Each has some predefined options, and then one option for personalization. Of course, the structure can be completely different categories. You can have the DTG and the fabric and all of them on the same site. When you pick regular items, the standard scenario of an e-commerce site, right? So just to make it interesting in the scenario, we are adding here a few products that are made from different materials, and we'll see that on the back end. Now switch into the customization session. The system automatically identifies that this is an item for customization, so the add to cart is replaced with the customized experience, and the customized will open a light box on top of your e-commerce site. You see the garment in 3D or in 2D, depends how you prefer your users to work. In this session, we'll do something very quick, set up the base color of the garment, take an image and spread it all over the front piece, write some text, scale it, layer, organize it to the print, and then click on Add to Cart. When we click on Add to Cart, our out-of-the-box integration will push the custom order into the shopping cart with, of course, the needed information to create the print. But here we have an order that is a mix of items that are predefined with an item that is customizable. Now, the less sexy part, but very important part, would be what's going on the back end. So we see that the back end generated 4 print files for this, 4 jobs. What is it? We have few garments on the orders that we processed here. The sweatshirts are made from 2 materials, the knitwear and the Lupex jersey. And the t-shirt that we had on the order is made from a single jersey. So the organic single jersey we see at the bottom. What happens is when the server starts to chunk these orders, we will see files appear in couples, one for the printer, one for the cutter. In this setup, the cutter needs a file. Not in all cases it is needed. When we open the file, we see nested pieces, in that case, of the knitwear material that is used to create the cuffs, the waistbands, the collars. As we can see on the left side, and at the beginning and at the end, we see QR codes. Every bundle has a QR code. It has color coding, of course, the registration marks. And if we open the matching cut file, a matching cut file to the, in this case, the ESCO cutter is the setup here. Now the server processed also the Lupex jersey. Now you see that in the Lupex jersey, because the pieces are bigger, we fit less bundles. We see 4 items on each sheet, and the system automatically generated 2 sheets for the Lupex jersey. So this is an example of the automation that is happening in the back end to allow the customer to get in the morning and get print-ready files, and the system just doesn't stop printing because it's waiting for somebody. Here we can see the customized item we created earlier, and of course then the matching file. So that's about it. I rushed it into 10 minutes. If you wish to hear a little bit more, just let me know on the booth, please.
Excellent, Guy. Thank you very much. That was a really incredible presentation. And of course, this is the first time that many companies watching you today will understand about and learn about EarlyVision. Incredible product. So as Guy said, please do visit him in the product demo area for more information on this. Thank you, Guy.